Doctor, you have a book that you co-authored called Slim, Sane, and Sexy. What can somebody learn from that? Who might want to take a look at that book?
Because I've been doing this for over 25 years, we wrote the book in 2007 or 8. You know how it takes time. Yes, well, it took longer than we thought it would. Somebody says, write a book, and you think, well, I've been doing this forever. That should be easy. It just took time. The book is for any woman that's looking to understand their hormonal process better. And we talk about the conditions underlying hormonal imbalance, like adrenal stress, like insulin resistance, as well as talking about literally what the hormones are doing. And then especially coming into menopause, we look at ways to think about that, ways to, we have sections in each chapter called action steps that are about self-care and optimizing health. And so it's a combination of all of those things, and at any given time, each woman is very individual as to her preparedness to make changes in those areas. I feel part of the art of practice, and probably what I've enjoyed so much, is it's very individual. But we look to do the things that we can do to help someone feel well now, but then also set the stage for guiding them into a program that sustains good health long term, whether they're seeing me or not, in that sense. And so that book really is kind of a reference for that and a support to get someone there. We actually, I have to say, added a chapter at the end for physicians, because one of our concerns is that women are seeking the help and can't find physicians wherever they are that understand or are familiar with working with it in a more natural way. And so it actually, there is a chapter that says Physician's Guide, and they can take the book and ask to work with their physician on it. So,
And you said you've been practicing about 25 years, is that right? How much has changed in that time from when you started practicing, you know, and how many things are you doing differently now, and how quickly does it change?
How many hours do we have in terms of just how much times have changed? And imagine when I was being trained, there was no such thing as an herbal preparation in a freeze-dried supplement. So herbs weren't being given in pill form or supplement form. They weren't on the shelves anywhere. You think of the industry that's risen around that. We learned how to formulate herbs through the tinctures, which is a kind of an alcohol-based most of the time. And we would mix and match and make things. And our training probably has changed quite a bit from then to now, and that doesn't seem that long ago to me, because it's my lifetime, but I wouldn't go back to that either for the most part, because the advance with the industry is that we can prescribe so many things, and people can access really good natural supplements. You say, how have things changed? There's so many directions I could go. Think about vitamin D. And I was trained that long ago, and we knew optimal vitamin D levels, what we needed to give. So I was exceeding that by 10 times most of the time, at least. And my labs would show high, and I'd call whoever was doing the laboratory and say, you know, don't put that X on it. You know, I'm good. We live in Oregon. We're not. And it took quite a while for that era to change, even though my profession trained me with the science behind it, and we knew that we were all pretty deficient. Even though if you average a population of deficient people, you're going to have a range that looks very deficient. So that's an example of how much medicine has needed to change. That's true also of cholesterol levels. We started, and blood sugar. We used to average populations to say what was healthy. We can't do that anymore. We know that's not healthy. So anyway, vitamin D, 10 times the dose that was the RDA is accepted now and understood to be needed. So
here's a tough question. If we look back and laugh at some of those things that were recommended or suggested back then, what are some of the things right now that we'll look back and just go, I can't believe this is how we did it?
Or that it's being argued. No, and I feel we have to, my own stance, even though I'm an alternative practitioner, there's a medical culture, and that wheel has to turn at the pace that it turns, and we just have to hold fast to what we know and what's helping people. For example, in the hormone arena, what I would say will be so understood, it won't be debated anymore, is probably the usefulness of progesterone for men and women. Men are often surprised, like, no, that's a woman's hormone, isn't it? And the data is so clear on brain function. They've used it IV to help soldiers with traumatic brain injury, things like that. But it's going to take probably a few decades for it to get comfortable for the medical establishment, let's say. That one comes to mind. There are many, probably many others.